Imagine a small village nestled in the heart of Mexico. The year is 1943. Life in Paracutin was peaceful. Farmers tended their cornfields. Children played in the sun. The air was fresh and the land was fertile. Dionisio Pulido, a local farmer, worked his land like generations before him. Little did he know his world was about to change forever. The village of Paracutin was small and quiet. People knew their neighbors. They helped each other. Life was simple and the rhythm of nature dictated their days. The land was their livelihood, providing food and sustenance. The villagers lived in harmony with the earth, unaware of the fiery secret it held. Dionisio Pulido was a hard-working farmer. He was proud of his land. One February afternoon, as he worked in his field, something strange happened. The ground beneath his feet felt warm. He dismissed it as just the heat of the day. But as the days went by, the ground grew warmer, and a strange smell filled the air. At first, it was just a subtle tremor, like a giant sleeping beneath the ground was starting to stir. Then came the cracks in the earth, appearing in Dionisio's cornfield. Smoke, smelling of sulfur, began to rise from the cracks. Fear gripped the villagers. They had never seen anything like it. The earth was alive, and it was angry. The ground trembled more frequently. Each tremor sent waves of fear through the village. The cracks in Dionisio's field widened and the smoke grew thicker. A low rumbling sound like distant thunder filled the air. The villagers gathered, their faces etched with worry. What was happening to their peaceful land? On February 20th, the earth roared. From the depths of the cracked earth, a fiery fountain erupted. Molten rock called lava spewed into the sky. Ash and cinders rained down on the terrified villagers. Dionisio's cornfield, once a symbol of life and sustenance, was now the birthplace of a volcano. The villagers watched in awe and terror as the volcano grew. Day by day, the cone of ash and lava rose higher. The air filled with the roar of the eruption, and the red glow of the molten rock lit up the night sky. Their once peaceful village was now overshadowed by a fiery mountain. The birth of a volcano is a rare event. Scientists from around the world flocked to Paracutin. They wanted to study this geological marvel up close. Here was a chance to witness the raw power of nature and learn about the forces that shape our planet. The volcano provided a unique opportunity to study volcanic activity in real time. Geologists, volcanologists, and other scientists set up camp near the erupting volcano. They carefully documented the growth of the cone, the flow of lava, and the composition of the ash. The data they collected at Paracutin would prove invaluable for understanding volcanic eruptions and their impact on the environment. The eruption of Paracutin was a spectacle, but it was also a disaster for the local community. The village had to be evacuated. Homes and fields were swallowed by the ever-growing lava flows. The villagers lost their homes, their livelihoods, and their way of life. The once fertile land was now buried under tons of volcanic rock. The air was thick with ash, making it difficult to breathe. The villagers watched helplessly as their beloved village disappeared under a sea of lava. They were forced to start their lives anew, carrying with them the memory of the day their world changed forever. For 9 years, the volcano raged. Then, as suddenly as it began, the eruption stopped. Paracutin fell silent, leaving behind a cone of hardened lava almost 1,400 feet high. The village was gone, buried under tons of volcanic rock. But from the ashes of destruction, a new landscape emerged. Today, Paracutin stands as a stark reminder of nature's power. The volcano, now dormant, is a popular tourist destination. Visitors come to marvel at the solidified lava flows and the ruins of the church, a testament to the destructive force of the eruption. Paracutin, the volcano that birthed itself in a farmer's field, serves as a silent but powerful reminder of the ever-changing face of our planet.
Welcome to a journey through time and innovation, where steam and internal combustion engines transformed the world. Today, we dive into the lives of 3 extraordinary inventors who paved the way for one of humanity's greatest achievements, the automobile. Meet Thomas Newcomen, an inventor whose vision drove him to create the first practical steam engine around 1712. Deep underground in the dark, damp mines of 18th century England, miners faced the relentless challenge of water flooding their tunnels. Newcomen's steam engine was a game-changer, powering pumps that drained those mines and opened up new frontiers of industry. But Newcomen's engine was just the beginning. His invention ignited the spark for further innovation. Enter James Watt, an inventor who took Newcomen's design and supercharged it. In the late 18th century, Watt's improvements to the steam engine revolutionized the Industrial Revolution. His separate condenser and other enhancements made engines more efficient and powerful, propelling factories, railways, and even the early days of mechanized transportation. Watt's work didn't just change industry, it set the stage for the future of transportation. And now, let's fast forward to Nicholas Otto, the man who took the internal combustion engine from concept to reality. In 1876, Otto's four-stroke engine transformed the world of motors. Imagine a revolutionary engine that could run on gasoline, making transportation more accessible and practical than ever before. Otto's design laid the foundation for the modern automobile. By combining the advances from steam engines with his internal combustion engine, Otto turned the dream of personal transportation into a reality. In 1886, Carl Benz introduced the Benz patent motor wagon, the first true automobile. Powered by Otto's engine, it was a marvel of engineering, and a testament to the incredible journey of innovation. From Newcomen's steam engines to Otto's internal combustion revolution, these inventors shaped the future of transportation and the world as we know it. So next time you slide into the driver's seat, remember the incredible legacy of Thomas Newcomen, James Watt, and Nicholas Otto, pioneers who drove the wheels of progress and forever changed the way we move. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey through the history of engines and automobiles. Until next time, keep dreaming and driving forward.
In 1204, a city known as the Heart of Christianity was struck by a force it never expected. The Fourth Crusade, meant to liberate Jerusalem, instead delivered a devastating blow to Constantinople. But what led to this shocking betrayal? And who was the man at the center of it all? Meet Enrico Dandolo, the Doge of Venice. To some, he was a cunning strategist and a master of diplomacy. To others, he was the orchestrator of one of the most infamous betrayals in medieval history. The Fourth Crusade was originally launched to reclaim Jerusalem from Muslim control. But as the Crusaders prepared for their journey, financial and political complications led them to Venice, and there, Dandolo saw an opportunity. Under Dandolo's influence, the Crusaders' mission shifted. The riches of Constantinople, and the opportunity to settle old scores, were too tempting to resist. In April 1204, the city of Constantinople faced a brutal assault. What was supposed to be a Christian campaign became a ruthless sacking of one of Christendom's greatest cities. The Crusaders, guided by Dandolo, plundered and ravaged the city. Sacred relics were stolen, and priceless works of art were destroyed. The damage was catastrophic. The sack of Constantinople wasn't just a military victory, it was a deep betrayal. The Greeks saw this as an attack on their faith and culture. Dandolo's actions left a lasting scar. The schism between Eastern Orthodoxy and Western Catholicism was made even deeper by this act of aggression. Enrico Dandolo's legacy is complex. While Venice gained immense power and wealth, the city of Constantinople never fully recovered. The rift between East and West only grew wider, fueled by the events of 1204. Today, as we look back on this pivotal moment in history, we must remember the lessons of betrayal and ambition. The story of Enrico Dandolo and the Fourth Crusade is a powerful reminder of how one man's actions can reshape the course of history. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more historical deep dives and intriguing tales from the past.
Ever wondered what happened to those gigantic dinosaurs from the Mesozoic era? Did they just vanish? Well, there's an amazing twist to this tale. Let's dive into the surprising truth about dinosaurs and their modern-day descendants. In Steve Brusatz's book, The Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs, we learn that while the age of the dinosaurs ended with a bang 66 million years ago, their legacy didn't completely disappear. That's right, the big, fearsome dinosaurs like T-Rex and Velociraptor might be gone, but they left behind a remarkable legacy. Birds are their living relatives. Yes, you heard it right, modern birds are the descendants of theropod dinosaurs. During the late Cretaceous period, a group of theropod dinosaurs began evolving features that would eventually lead to modern birds. Feathers, lighter bones, and adaptations for flight marked this incredible transformation. So, when you see a bird flitting around, remember, it's not just a bird. It's a descendant of the mighty dinosaurs that roamed the earth millions of years ago. Brusatz's book is a fantastic read if you're curious about this incredible story of survival and evolution. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more amazing science and history content. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.
Earth's magnetic shield. Have you ever wondered what protects us from the harsh realities of space? It's not just our atmosphere, but a hidden shield, Earth's magnetic field. This powerful force extends far beyond our planet, deflecting harmful solar radiation and cosmic rays, acting as our first line of defense in space. Earth's magnetic field is generated deep within the planet, where molten iron flows in the outer core. This movement creates electric currents, which in turn produce a magnetic field that stretches into space. Without this invisible shield, life as we know it wouldn't be possible. Solar wind streams of charged particles from the sun would strip away our atmosphere, leaving Earth exposed to dangerous radiation. But here's something fascinating. Our magnetic field isn't static, it's constantly changing. The magnetic poles, which are where the field is strongest, are slowly drifting. Scientists have even discovered that the strength of the magnetic field fluctuates over time. This is due to the complex flow of molten iron in the Earth's core. As the flow changes, so does our magnetic shield. Now, you might be wondering what happens if the magnetic field weakens significantly. The consequences could be serious. Without our magnetic shield, cosmic rays, high-energy particles from space could penetrate the atmosphere more easily. These rays can damage DNA, increase the risk of cancer, and cause major disruptions to our technology, including satellites and power grids. But it's not all doom and gloom. Earth's magnetic field has weakened and strengthened many times throughout history, and it has always recovered. Magnetic reversals, where the magnetic poles actually switch places, have occurred hundreds of times over millions of years. While these changes can have temporary effects, our planet has always bounced back. So, the next time you hear about Earth's magnetic field, remember it's more than just a compass guide. It's a vital shield that protects all life on Earth from the dangers of the cosmos. If you found this video interesting, hit like and subscribe for more content about our incredible planet. Thanks for watching.
Join me as I dive into the wild world of meteorites and try to uncover how life might have actually come to Earth from space. One of the most fascinating theories out there is panspermia, the idea that life may have originated from microorganisms in space, and that these tiny creatures could have hitched a ride to our planet on comets or meteorites. And what's even more amazing is that we've actually found evidence of this phenomenon in some of the meteorites that have crashed to Earth. One of the biggest mysteries of all time is how life began on our planet. Scientists have been trying to crack this code for centuries, but so far, we still don't have a definitive answer. It's almost as if life just magically appeared out of thin air, and that's exactly what makes it so intriguing. The more we learn about the origins of life, the more questions we seem to have. Was it a fluke, a chance event that only happens once in a billion years? Or was it something more deliberate, something that was always meant to be? The search for answers has taken scientists down some pretty weird and wonderful paths. They've studied the conditions on other planets, looking for clues about how life might have emerged elsewhere in the universe. They've experimented with creating life in a lab, trying to recreate the primordial soup that gave rise to the first living cells. And they've even looked to the stars, wondering if we might be alone in the universe, or if there's other life out there waiting to be discovered. But despite all these efforts, we still don't know for sure how life began. And that's what makes the evidence found in meteorites so compelling. Could it be that life didn't actually originate on Earth at all, but but came from somewhere else entirely. Meteorites have been a treasure trove of information about the early universe, and some of the finds have been truly groundbreaking. Take amino acids, for example, the building blocks of life. We've found them in meteorites, suggesting that the raw materials for life are widespread in the universe. And then there are the microbial fossils, tiny signs of life that are eerily similar to the microorganisms we find on Earth. The implications are mind-blowing. Could it be that life on Earth actually originated from outer space? That the creatures that call our planet home today are actually the descendants of extraterrestrial microbes that hitched a ride on a comet or meteorite millions of years ago? It's a concept that challenges everything we thought we knew about the origins of life and opens up a whole new can of worms when it comes to the possibility of life elsewhere in the universe. Recent studies have only added fuel to the fire, with some pretty compelling evidence linking meteorites to the emergence of life on Earth. It's not just about the amino acids and microbial fossils anymore. Scientists have found actual fragments of DNA in some of the meteorites, suggesting that life might not be as unique to Earth as we once thought. The significance of these findings can't be overstated. If life did indeed come from space, it raises all sorts of questions about our place in the universe and whether we're really as special as we think we are. It challenges our understanding of evolution and forces us to rethink the entire history of life on Earth. And it raises the stakes when it comes to the search for extraterrestrial life, suggesting that we might not be alone in the universe after all. So what's the takeaway from all this? Well, it's pretty simple. The connection between meteorites and the origins of life on Earth is a fascinating one, and it's an area of research that's still yielding some amazing discoveries. The more we learn, the more we realize just how mysterious and wonderful the universe really is. So what do you think? Could life on Earth really have come from space? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're as fascinated by this stuff as I am, be sure to check out my next video on the search for extraterrestrial life.
Join me as I dive deep into the dark and twisted history of the Hope Diamond and try to uncover the truth behind its cursed legacy. Today, we'll uncover the fascinating yet eerie history of the Hope Diamond, a jewel that has captivated and cursed its owners for centuries. Many believe that the Hope Diamond is cursed, bringing misfortune and tragedy to those who dare to own it. From royal families to wealthy socialites, the diamond has left a trail of devastation in its wake, leading many to wonder if its beauty is worth the cost. One of the most enduring tales of misfortune associated with the diamond is that of Evelyn Walsh McLean, an American socialite who owned the Hope Diamond in the early 20th century. Her life was marked by tragedy, including the death of her son, the dissolution of her marriage, and eventually her own death in a sanitarium. Despite its dark history, many have been drawn to the Hope Diamond's beauty and mystique. But is the curse real, or is it simply a product of superstition and coincidence? As we delve deeper into the diamond's origins and history, we may uncover some surprising answers. The Hope Diamond's origins can be traced back to ancient India, where it was first mined in the Kolar mine. In the 17th century, it was owned by various Indian rulers, including the Kakatiya dynasty, who reportedly used it as an eye in a Hindu temple. In the 18th century, the diamond was stolen by a French merchant named Jean-Baptiste Tavernier, who brought it to Europe. It eventually found its way into the possession of King Louis XIV of France, who had it cut and polished into the stunning gem we know today. After the French Revolution, the Hope Diamond was stolen and disappeared for many years, only to resurface in the possession of a Turkish sultan. It eventually made its way to the United States, where it was owned by a series of wealthy Americans, including Evelyn Walsh McLean and Harry Winston. One of the most chilling stories associated with the Hope Diamond is the tale of Jacques Collet, a French diamond cutter who allegedly stole the diamond from the French royal treasury. According to legend, Collet was torn apart by wild dogs on the streets of Paris, a gruesome fate that many believe was a direct result of his theft. Another tragic tale is that of Evelyn Walsh McLean's son, Vincent, who died under mysterious circumstances. Some believe that the Hope Diamond was responsible for his death, while others simply view it as a tragic accident. Perhaps the most famous incident associated with the Hope Diamond is the story of Harry Winston, the jeweler who donated the diamond to the Smithsonian Museum in 1958. According to legend, Winston sent the diamond to the museum via registered mail, and the package was allegedly lost in transit. However, the story has been largely debunked as a publicity stunt. In the end, the truth behind the Hope Diamond's curse remains a mystery. Is it simply a product of superstition and coincidence? Or is there something more sinister at play? One thing is certain: the Hope Diamond's fascinating history has captivated us all, and its legend will continue to endure for generations to come. If you found this story captivating, be sure to check out our other videos on legendary artifacts and let us know your thoughts about the curse in the comments below.
In the late 13th century, a Venetian named Marco Polo embarked on a journey that would shape the imagination of the world. His tales of distant lands were both captivating and controversial. But how much of his story was truth and how much was myth? Returning from the East with grand tales, Marco Polo's accounts dazzled Europe. Yet historians debate the veracity of his journey. What did Polo truly see, and where did his stories diverge from reality? Marco Polo, alongside his father Niccolo and uncle Maffeo, set out in 1271 on a voyage that would take them far beyond the known world. Their journey led them through the Byzantine Empire, across the Persian plateau, and into the heart of Asia. Marco Polo and his family crossing the Byzantine Empire. Their first major stop was Constantinople, a city straddling two worlds, Europe and Asia. Here, Polo encountered a melting pot of cultures, each adding to the rich tapestry of his tales. The city's grandeur and its strategic location made it a crossroads of commerce and culture. Traveling through the Persian plateau, Marco Polo witnessed the Silk Road in full swing. He described caravans of camels laden with silk, spices and precious gems, trading goods across 1,000 miles. The vastness of the plateau was a testament to the interconnectedness of the medieval world. Their journey eventually brought them to the Mongol Empire under the rule of Kublai Khan. Polo's accounts of the Khan's court were filled with splendor and mystery, portraying a world of immense luxury and power. He described the Great Wall of China, not as a single structure, but as a series of fortifications stretching across northern China. Marco Polo is seen marveling at the grandeur of the palace, witnessing intricate ceremonies and interacting with the Khan's diverse courtiers. Polo described the court of Kublai Khan with vivid detail: huge palaces, elaborate feasts, and a bureaucracy that managed a vast empire. He wrote of the Khan's impressive use of paper money, a concept previously unknown in Europe. Polo also spoke of the Khan's fascination with astronomy and the grandeur of his celestial observatory. Polo's writings also included vivid descriptions of cities like Kinsai, believed to be Hangzhou. He spoke of its grandeur, vast canals, magnificent pagodas, and lively markets filled with silk and spices. Polo claimed that Kinsai had a population of over 1 million, with streets paved in gold. One of the most enigmatic tales was that of Chengdu. Polo described a city with 100,000 people who lived within its walls. The layout of the capital is roughly square-shaped with sides of about 1.4 miles. It consists of an outer city and an inner city in the southeast of the capital, which has also roughly a square layout with sides about 0.87 mile, and the palace where Kublai Khan stayed in summer. Polo's accounts of the Andaman Islands, described as the land of gold, add another layer of intrigue. The Andamans were known for their isolation and unique biodiversity. While it's unlikely Polo visited these islands himself, his descriptions might have been influenced by tales from sailors and traders who traveled through the region. Interestingly, Marco Polo did not write his memoirs himself. Instead, they were recorded by Rustichello of Pisa, a fellow prisoner. Rustichello, while skilled in storytelling, did not fully grasp the Venetian dialect and may have added his own flourishes to Polo's accounts. Some scholars argue that Rustichello's own experiences and imagination might have influenced the final text. Rustichello's interpretation turned Marco Polo's stories into a literary sensation. The manuscript, The Travels of Marco Polo, became one of the most widely read books of the Middle Ages, but its blend of fact and fiction stirred debate among historians and explorers alike. Maps are drawn, and explorers set out inspired by his stories. Despite the potential exaggerations, Marco Polo's tales opened a window to the East, sparking curiosity and inspiring future explorers. His descriptions of exotic lands, advanced technologies, and diverse cultures provided Europeans with a glimpse into a world previously unknown to them. In the end, Marco Polo's journey was as much about the art of storytelling as it was about exploration. His tales blended reality with myth, creating a legacy that transcended the boundaries of his time. His adventures inspired countless others to seek out the mysteries of the East, blending the real with the imagined in the grand tapestry of history. The truth is often stranger than fiction. Subscribe and like for more content. Imagine a place so ancient it predates Stonehenge by 6,000 years. Welcome to Göbekli Tepe, the world's oldest temple. 6 miles from Urfa in southeastern Turkey, German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt made a groundbreaking discovery. Massive carved stones, 11,000 years old, crafted by prehistoric people without metal tools or pottery. Previously dismissed as a medieval cemetery, Göbekli Tepe is now seen as early evidence of prehistoric worship. Standing stones or pillars arranged in circles, some blank, others elaborately carved with foxes, lions, scorpions, and vultures. There is a stone ring 65 feet across, maybe the first human-built holy place. From this hilltop, we can see to the horizon in nearly every direction, imagining a paradise of wild animals and flowing rivers. Göbekli Tepe sits at the northern edge of the Fertile Crescent, attracting hunter-gatherers from Africa and the Levant. We believe this was humanity's first cathedral on a hill, a place of worship on an unprecedented scale. Using ground-penetrating radar, archaeologists mapped 16 other megalith rings buried across 22 acres. The 1-acre excavation covers less than 5% of the site, with archaeologists barely scratching the surface. In the 1960s, University of Chicago and Istanbul University anthropologists dismissed the site as an abandoned cemetery. In 1994, Schmidt read about the stone-littered hilltop and decided to investigate, realizing its extraordinary significance. Göbekli Tepe's gently rounded top stood out to Schmidt, who saw it as a gigantic Stone Age site. Schmidt and his team uncovered the first megaliths, finding no signs of settlement but evidence of tool use. Carbon dating confirmed the stone structures are about 11,000 years old, the same age as nearby sites. Prehistoric masons wielding flint tools shaped the pillars on the spot before carrying them to the summit. Once the stone rings were finished, the ancient builders covered them with dirt, creating the hilltop over centuries. Archaeozoologist Joris Peters has examined over 100,000 bone fragments, revealing a hunter-gatherer society. The bones indicate the people had not yet domesticated animals or farmed, but were on the verge of major change. Within 1,000 years of Göbekli Tepe's construction, settlers had domesticated sheep, cattle, and pigs. Schmidt argues that the effort to build the monoliths laid the groundwork for the development of complex societies. The monuments required hundreds of workers, leading to the emergence of settled communities around 10,000 years ago. Archaeologists theorize the site was not a settlement, but a place where early people gathered to build and bury stone rings. The pillar carvings depict menacing creatures, suggesting a world of fears these hunters sought to master. Vulture carvings hint at beliefs in carrion birds transporting the dead to the heavens, linking Göbekli Tepe to other sites. Schmidt believes the site's true purpose lies beneath the floors, possibly a burial ground or center of a death cult. Join us next time as we uncover more mysteries of the ancient world. Göbekli Tepe, where history begins.
Join me as I dive into the challenge of uncovering just how many mass extinctions Earth has survived and what that means for our future. In this video, you'll learn about the mass extinctions that have shaped our planet's history and the implications for the future. Scientists have long been fascinated by the mysterious and often devastating events that have wiped out entire species and ecosystems, yet we still have so much to learn about these ancient catastrophes. Understanding past mass extinctions is crucial if we want to address the current biodiversity crisis, but it's not an easy task. The fossil record is patchy, and evidence can be scarce or open to interpretation. Moreover, the processes that led to these extinctions are often complex and multifaceted, making it difficult to pinpoint a single cause. And yet, despite these challenges, researchers have made significant progress in unraveling the mysteries of the past. One of the biggest hurdles in studying mass extinctions is that they often leave behind a biased record. The fossils that survive to the present day are often those of species that were more resilient or adaptable, whereas the most vulnerable species may have left no trace. This means that we may be missing a crucial part of the story, and our understanding of these events may be skewed as a result. Furthermore, the Earth's surface has undergone significant changes over the past few billion years, with continents colliding and drifting apart, oceans expanding and contracting, and the climate fluctuating wildly. All these changes can obscure or destroy evidence of past extinctions. Despite these challenges, scientists have developed innovative techniques to reconstruct the history of life on Earth. From geochemical analysis to computational models, researchers have been able to piece together a narrative of the most devastating events in our planet's history. By combining multiple lines of evidence, we can begin to understand the complex interplay of factors that led to these catastrophes. The study of mass extinctions is not just an academic exercise, it has profound implications for our understanding of the natural world and our place within it. By learning from the past, we can better prepare for the challenges of the future. So, let's dive into the fascinating story of the 5 major mass extinctions that have shaped our planet's history. The first of these extinctions, known as the Ordovician-Silurian extinction, occurred around 440 million years ago and wiped out nearly 85% of all species. It was likely triggered by a combination of factors, including a massive cooling of the climate, sea level changes, and a dramatic shift in ocean chemistry. The second extinction, which took place around 375 million years ago, was even more devastating, with an estimated 95% of all species disappearing. This event, known as the Late Devonian extinction, was likely caused by a series of massive volcanic eruptions that released toxic gases into the atmosphere. The third extinction, which occurred around 250 million years ago, is often referred to as the Great Dying because it was so catastrophic. This event, which marked the end of the Permian period, saw the disappearance of a staggering 96% of all marine species and 70% of all terrestrial species. The causes of this extinction are still debated, but it's thought to have been triggered by a combination of massive volcanic eruptions, climate change, and a dramatic shift in the Earth's orbit. The fourth extinction, which occurred around 200 million years ago, was likely triggered by massive volcanic activity and climate change, and saw the disappearance of many iconic dinosaurs. The fifth and most recent extinction, which occurred around 65 million years ago, is famous for wiping out the dinosaurs and is thought to have been triggered by a massive asteroid impact. So what do these extinctions teach us? Firstly, they show us that life on Earth is incredibly resilient. Despite the most catastrophic events, life always finds a way to bounce back, albeit in new and often unexpected forms. Secondly, they demonstrate the importance of adaptability in the face of uncertainty. Species that are able to adapt to changing environments are more likely to survive, while those that are inflexible are more likely to perish. Finally, they highlight the importance of learning from the past. By studying these ancient catastrophes, we can better prepare for the challenges of the present and future. In conclusion, the history of mass extinctions is a sobering reminder of the fragility of life on Earth and the importance of learning from the past. By understanding these events, we can better protect our planet's biodiversity and ensure a more sustainable future. Thanks for watching, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on mass extinctions in the comments below. If you're interested in learning more about Earth's history and the climate crisis, be sure to check out my other videos.
Earth, an endless expanse of blue and green. But for all its vastness, our world is surprisingly small. Despite our advanced clothing and shelters, the land we can actually live on is just a tiny fraction of the whole planet. We occupy only 12% of Earth's total land area. And if you include the oceans, our habitable zone shrinks to just 4% of the entire surface. It's a small island in an ocean of extremes. Yet within this small fraction, we've built cities, cultivated lands, and adapted to almost every environment. From bustling cities to serene countrysides, our little slice of Earth is teeming with life and activity. It's a reminder that even within our tiny habitable zone, we've managed to make a world of wonder. From a distance, it might seem small, but up close, it's anything but ordinary. In the early 19th century, the world knew little of aluminum, a metal as rare as gold, hiding in the shadows of nature. What if I can isolate this elusive metal? In 1825, Ørsted achieved the extraordinary. He discovered aluminum, sparking curiosity and desire. As the fascination grew, the French aristocracy saw an opportunity to redefine luxury. Why settle for silver when we can dazzle our guests with aluminum? Aluminum? It's a rarity, perfect for our royal table. Meanwhile, America was ignited by ambition and innovation. We should cap the Washington Monument with aluminum. It will shine like no other. Isn't aluminum too rare and expensive for that? Not anymore. We're on the brink of mass production. Aluminum's status shifted from a coveted rarity to an essential material, transformed by new extraction techniques. Once deemed the fourth most common element, aluminum became a symbol of progress and accessibility. From royalty to the everyday kitchen, aluminum's journey is a testament to human ingenuity. And so this shimmering metal continues to reflect our lives, ever present and vital. The story of aluminum, from rarity to necessity.
Join me as I dive deep into the incredible facts about the Aztec Empire and challenge everything you thought you knew about its advancements compared to Europe. The Aztec Empire, one of the most fascinating and mysterious civilizations in human history, is often overlooked when it comes to its remarkable achievements. Despite its grandeur and sophistication, the Aztecs are often perceived as a primitive, savage people. But was this really the case? When we think of ancient civilizations, we often assume that Europeans were more advanced, more sophisticated, and more civilized. We're taught that the Greeks and Romans were the epitome of human progress, and that other cultures like the Aztecs were just barbaric tribes. But is this narrative entirely accurate? Were the Aztecs really just a bunch of savage warriors? Or was there more to them than meets the eye? The Aztecs were often dismissed as a primitive people because of their supposed lack of technological advancements. They didn't have the wheel after all, and their writing system was deemed inferior to the alphabets of Europe. But what if I told you that these perceived shortcomings were actually a result of our own cultural bias? What if the Aztecs were actually more advanced than we give them credit for? For centuries, we've been fed a Eurocentric view of history, where the achievements of ancient Europe are placed on a pedestal, while the accomplishments of other cultures are relegated to the shadows. But it's time to challenge this narrative and explore the incredible facts about the Aztec Empire that will make you question everything you thought you knew. Agriculture is one area where the Aztecs excelled. They developed a sophisticated system of irrigation, allowing them to grow crops in even the most inhospitable landscapes. They also invented the chinampa, a type of floating garden that could produce up to 7 harvests a year. Compare this to the medieval Europeans, who were still struggling to grow crops in the unforgiving climate of northern Europe. The Aztecs were also master architects, building sprawling cities that rivaled those of ancient Greece and Rome. The city of Tenochtitlan, the Aztec capital, was a marvel of engineering, with towering pyramids, grand palaces, and intricate canal systems. The Aztecs were even known for their advanced knowledge of astronomy, tracking the movements of the stars and planets with remarkable precision. But perhaps the most impressive achievement of the Aztecs was their sophisticated social organization. They developed a complex system of government, where power was distributed among various councils and guilds. They also had a highly developed system of education, where children were taught literacy, mathematics, and even philosophy from a young age. One of the most surprising facts about the Aztecs is their advanced agricultural technique of urban planning. They built their cities on a grid system, with canals and walkways that allowed for easy navigation. They even developed a system of public transportation, where canoes and barges ferried people across the city. Compare this to the cramped, winding streets of medieval Europe, and it's clear that the Aztecs were ahead of their time. The Aztecs' achievements are a testament to their ingenuity, creativity, and advanced knowledge. They were a true civilization with a rich culture, a complex society, and impressive technological advancements. So the next time you hear someone say that the Aztecs were just a bunch of savage warriors, remember the incredible facts about their achievements that challenge the narrative of European superiority. Before I go, I want to thank you for watching this video and exploring the incredible facts about the Aztec Empire with me. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below, share this video with your friends, and check out my other content related to ancient civilizations.
Earth's magnetic shield. Have you ever wondered what protects us from the harsh realities of space? It's not just our atmosphere, but a hidden shield, Earth's magnetic field. This powerful force extends far beyond our planet, deflecting harmful solar radiation and cosmic rays, acting as our first line of defense in space. Earth's magnetic field is generated deep within the planet, where molten iron flows in the outer core. This movement creates electric currents, which in turn produce a magnetic field that stretches into space. Without this invisible shield, life as we know it wouldn't be possible. Solar wind streams of charged particles from the sun would strip away our atmosphere, leaving Earth exposed to dangerous radiation. But here's something fascinating. Our magnetic field isn't static, it's constantly changing. The magnetic poles, which are where the field is strongest, are slowly drifting. Scientists have even discovered that the strength of the magnetic field fluctuates over time. This is due to the complex flow of molten iron in the Earth's core. As the flow changes, so does our magnetic shield. Now, you might be wondering what happens if the magnetic field weakens significantly. The consequences could be serious. Without our magnetic shield, cosmic rays, high-energy particles from space could penetrate the atmosphere more easily. These rays can damage DNA, increase the risk of cancer, and cause major disruptions to our technology, including satellites and power grids. But it's not all doom and gloom. Earth's magnetic field has weakened and strengthened many times throughout history, and it has always recovered. Magnetic reversals, where the magnetic poles actually switch places, have occurred hundreds of times over millions of years. While these changes can have temporary effects, our planet has always bounced back. So, the next time you hear about Earth's magnetic field, remember it's more than just a compass guide. It's a vital shield that protects all life on Earth from the dangers of the cosmos. If you found this video interesting, hit like and subscribe for more content about our incredible planet. Thanks for watching.
Imagine a space rock from the outer solar system ending the age of dinosaurs. Incredible, right? Let's explore this fascinating discovery. Scientists have uncovered new evidence suggesting that the notorious asteroid known as the Chicxulub impactor originated from a family of asteroids beyond Jupiter's orbit. This space rock, responsible for the mass extinction 66 million years ago, left a crater in Mexico and a mark on history. A team led by Mario Fischer-Goddet from the University of Cologne analyzed the rare element ruthenium found in the geological remnants of the impact. Ruthenium, common in asteroids but rare on Earth, pointed to the asteroid's origin. The isotope signature matched that of carbonaceous asteroids, which are high in carbon content. This breakthrough, published in Science, strengthens the theory that the dinosaur-killing asteroid was not an icy comet, but a carbon-rich asteroid from beyond Jupiter. These findings help scientists understand ancient impacts and assess potential future threats. So, next time you look up at the night sky, remember, the secrets of the universe are just waiting to be discovered. Stay curious.
I don't think people understand just how wild the journey from wolves to dogs really is. Let's dive into this tail-wagging tale. Thousands of years ago, wolves and humans started to cross paths. Wolves that were less scared of humans stuck around for scraps. And over time, these friendlier wolves survived and thrived. Imagine early humans thinking, hey, these guys make pretty good alarm systems. So they started keeping the calmer ones around. As generations went by, humans began picking the tamest wolves to breed. Enter floppy ears and wagging tails. These early dogs were more social and better at understanding humans. Fast forward, and dogs spread alongside humans worldwide, evolving into breeds we know today, each with their own special job, from hunters to herders to snugglers. This epic co-evolution turned wolves into our best friends. So next time you cuddle your dog, remember, you're hugging a piece of wild history.
Join me as I dive into the wild story of King Henry VIII ditching the Catholic Church, and I'll try to uncover the unbelievable reasons behind his shocking decision. King Henry VIII is one of the most infamous figures in English history, and his split from the Catholic Church is still sending shockwaves today. The decision not only changed the course of England's religious and political landscape, but also had far-reaching consequences for the entire Catholic Church. So, what led this powerful king to take such a drastic step, and what were the implications of his actions? Henry's desire for a male heir was the root of the conflict with the Pope. He desperately wanted a son to secure the Tudor dynasty, but his marriage to Catherine of Aragon had only produced a daughter, Mary. Henry became convinced that their marriage was invalid, as Catherine had been married to his older brother, Arthur, who had died shortly after the wedding. This led Henry to request an annulment from the Pope, but he refused to grant it, citing the biblical prohibition on marrying a brother's widow. The stakes were high, as Henry's desire for an annulment was not just a personal matter, but also a dynastic one. Without a male heir, the Tudor dynasty was at risk, and Henry was willing to do whatever it took to secure his legacy. The Pope's refusal to grant the annulment put Henry in a difficult position, as he risked excommunication and the wrath of the Catholic Church. Meanwhile, Henry's attention had turned to Anne Boleyn, one of Catherine's ladies-in-waiting. Anne was young, charming, and clever, and Henry became infatuated with her. However, Anne refused to become Henry's mistress, insisting that she would only marry him if he divorced Catherine and married her properly. Henry was enthralled by Anne and became determined to marry her regardless of the consequences. The Reformation was already underway in Europe, and Henry saw an opportunity to break away from the Catholic Church and form a new English church, with himself as its head. This would allow him to marry Anne and secure his dynasty, while also gaining control over the English church and its vast wealth. The stage was set for a dramatic showdown between Henry and the Pope, with the fate of England hanging in the balance. Henry's marriages had become a major obstacle to his goals. Catherine, his first wife, had failed to produce a male heir, and his desire to marry Anne Boleyn was driving a wedge between him and the Pope. Henry's solution was to dismiss the authority of the Pope and establish the Church of England with himself as its supreme head. This move would allow him to annul his marriage to Catherine and marry Anne, cementing his control over the English Church and state. The Act of Supremacy, passed in 1534, officially broke Henry's ties with the Catholic Church, establishing the Church of England and cementing Henry's power. The Pope's authority was replaced by Henry's, and the English Church was reformed to suit Henry's needs. This decision had far-reaching consequences as it led to the English Reformation and the establishment of the Anglican Church. The immediate consequences of Henry's decision were severe. The monasteries were dissolved, and their wealth was seized by the crown. The Catholic Church's power was broken, and Henry's authority was solidified. However, this decision also led to a period of turmoil and violence, as those who opposed Henry's actions were hunted down and executed. In conclusion, King Henry VIII's split from the Catholic Church was a pivotal moment in English history, marking a turning point in the Reformation and the rise of the Anglican Church. The consequences of this decision are still felt today, shaping the course of English politics, religion, and culture. So, what do you think about Henry's decision to ditch the Catholic Church? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to tune in to my next video.
The Empress of Enlightenment, the story of Catherine the Great. Catherine the Great, one of the most influential women in history, was born in 1729 in the small German principality of Anhalt-Zerbst. Her ancestry was a fascinating blend of German, Swedish, and Russian bloodlines, which would later influence her destiny. Catherine's early life was marked by a passion for learning, encouraged by her mother, Johanna Elizabeth of Holstein-Gottorp. She was educated in the arts, languages, and philosophy, developing a love for the Enlightenment thinkers of the time. In 1745, Catherine was married off to Peter III, the grandson of Peter the Great and the heir to the Russian throne. However, she soon discovered that her husband was a weak and indecisive leader, more interested in playing with his toy soldiers than in governing the country. Catherine's intelligence, wit, and determination quickly made her a favorite among the Russian nobility, and she began to build alliances that would eventually help her seize power. With the support of Count Grigory Orlov and his brothers, Catherine conspired to overthrow Peter III and install herself as the Empress of Russia. In 1762, she succeeded in a bloodless coup, marking the beginning of a new era in Russian history. Catherine's reign was marked by significant achievements. She expanded Russia's borders, established the Smolny Institute for Noble Maidens, the first women's educational institution in Russia, and promoted the arts and culture. Catherine's personal life was also marked by turmoil and passion. She engaged in a series of romantic affairs with influential men, including Count Grigory Orlov, Prince Grigory Potemkin, and Alexander Dmitriev Mamonov. These relationships were often tumultuous and had significant consequences for her family and her reign. Despite the challenges she faced, Catherine remained committed to her vision for Russia. She transformed the country into a major European power, leaving a lasting legacy that would be remembered for centuries. Catherine's story is one of intelligence, determination, and passion, a testament to the power of a strong and visionary leader.
Imagine stepping back in time to the 16th or 17th century. No cars, no factories, and no modern conveniences. Life back then might seem simpler, but one thing would be immediately striking: the smells. Unlike today, people rarely bathed and washed their clothes infrequently. Without access to the detergents and soaps we use, clothing often retained the smells of sweat, smoke from hearth fires, and general grime. You'd walk into a room or pass someone in the street, and a mix of unwashed bodies and the scent of whatever work they did, like leather tanning, baking, or blacksmithing, would hit your nose. Natural fibers like wool and linen were harder to clean back then, and they absorbed odors from daily life. The result? Clothing would smell musty or earthy after days, even weeks of wear. The lack of deodorants or perfumes for everyday people meant that body odor was much more noticeable than what we're used to today. Inside buildings, the story was similar. Without air conditioning or modern ventilation, the air was often thick with the smell of smoke from fires, burning candles, and oil lamps. Even the furniture contributed. Wooden floors and walls absorbed moisture and smells, while animals like horses and livestock were often kept close by. Outdoors, though, the experience would have been very different. Unlike today, where pollution and industrial smells dominate, the air would have been fresher and cleaner. You'd notice the smell of damp earth after rain, blooming flowers in the spring, and fresh crops in the countryside. But in cities, the streets were often littered with waste, human and otherwise, adding unpleasant odors to the mix. Imagine sitting in a crowded theater. The audience would be packed together, and with the lack of frequent bathing, the combined body odors of everyone could be overwhelming. Theaters didn't have the same ventilation systems we have today, and the smell of sweat, stale air, and possibly even food from vendors would fill the space. Fast forward to today. Thanks to modern hygiene, detergents, and cleaning products, we live in a world where odors are managed and minimized. Air conditioning, scented products, and clean water mean that smells are much more controlled. But back then, the human experience was raw, with the natural and often unpleasant sense of daily life surrounding you everywhere you went. Now, imagine how you'd feel stepping into that world today. Our brains, specifically the amygdala, have evolved to react more strongly to unfamiliar and unsettling environments. Being exposed to the grime, dirt, and death that was once a common sight on the streets of the past would likely leave us feeling panicked, disgusted, and even overwhelmed. Modern life has conditioned us to expect cleanliness, order, and hygiene in our surroundings. So, encountering the raw realities of the past would likely trigger intense reactions. Your sense of disgust would be heightened. The pervasive smells of unwashed bodies, animal waste, and untreated illnesses, combined with sights we no longer encounter daily, would likely push your anxiety levels higher than what people of the 16th and 17th centuries might have felt. Your natural response might be one of panic, your body alerting you to the danger in an environment filled with germs, unsanitary conditions, and open wounds. While people of the past grew accustomed to these conditions, our modern senses and psychological makeup would struggle to cope. In a way, the 16th and 17th centuries were defined by their smells. It was a world where scents told the story of life, its work, its hardships, and its environments. Perhaps that's one part of history we're happy to leave behind. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more historical explorations.
Join me as I dive into 10 jaw-dropping facts about the universe that might just change the way you see life forever. We often think we know everything about the universe, but the truth is there's still so much to discover. We're constantly learning new things, and some of the most mind-blowing facts about the universe can completely flip our perspective on life. That's what I want to explore today. Many people assume that science has figured out the universe, that it's all wrapped up with a pretty bow. But the reality is, there are still so many unanswered questions, so many mysteries waiting to be unraveled. And when we delve into these unknowns, we start to realize just how little we truly understand. The universe is full of mysteries, and the more we learn, the more we realize how much we don't know. It's a humbling experience, and one that can be both exhilarating and terrifying at the same time. But it's exactly this sense of wonder, this sense of awe that drives us to keep exploring, to keep seeking out the truth. One thing's for sure, the universe is full of surprises. And today I'm going to share 10 of the most jaw-dropping facts that will change the way you see the universe and maybe even change your life. The first fact is that there's a giant storm on Jupiter that's been raging for centuries. This storm is so massive that it could swallow several Earths whole, and it's been going on for so long that we can't even begin to comprehend its scale. The second fact is that there's a galaxy that's made almost entirely of dark matter. This means that we can't even see most of the galaxy, and it's a total mystery to us. The third fact is that there's a black hole at the center of our galaxy that's growing at an alarming rate. This black hole is so massive that it warps the fabric of space and time around it, and it's only a matter of time before it swallows up the entire galaxy. The fourth fact is that the universe is still expanding, and it's doing so at an accelerating rate. This means that eventually the universe will expand so much that it will tear itself apart. And the fifth fact is that there are stars that are so dense they're only a few kilometers in diameter. These stars are so hot that they're actually shrinking, and they're so dense that a sugar cube-sized amount of their material would weigh as much as a mountain. The sixth fact is that there's a giant wall of galaxies that stretches across the universe, and we have no idea what it's made of. The seventh fact is that there are galaxies that are colliding with each other, and it's happening right before our eyes. These galaxies are so massive that they're creating entire new galaxies as they collide. The eighth fact is that there's a type of star that's so hot it's actually cooler than the surface of the sun. This star is so hot that it's actually frozen, and we have no idea how it's possible. The ninth fact is that there's a region of space that's completely empty, and we have no idea why. This region is so vast that it would take a spacecraft thousands of years to cross it, even traveling at the speed of light. The 10th and final fact is that the universe is actually a giant hologram, and everything we see is just a projection. But the most astonishing fact of all is that the universe is actually consciousness-driven. This means that our thoughts and emotions are actually shaping the universe around us, and that our perception of reality is what creates reality itself. This is a game changer, and it raises so many questions about the nature of existence and our place in the universe. These 10 facts have completely blown my mind, and I hope they've blown yours too. The universe is a mysterious and awe-inspiring place, and the more we learn, the more we realize how little we truly understand. So, which fact surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below, and if you want to learn more about the universe and its many mysteries, be sure to subscribe for more fascinating content.
The earliest records of whiskey distillation date back to the late 1400s. It is believed that monks brought the distillation techniques they learned from the Mediterranean, where it was used primarily for perfumes, to Ireland and Scotland. Since grapes were scarce in these regions, people began using fermented grains, such as barley, to produce a distilled spirit. The original Gaelic term, Uisce Beata, meaning water of life, was used to refer to this new beverage. Over time, this phrase was anglicized to whiskey. Whiskey production in Ireland and Scotland was initially small-scale, largely done in monasteries. However, with the dissolution of monasteries in the 16th century, distilling moved to private farms and homes. These early forms of whiskey were quite raw and unrefined compared to modern versions, often not aged and much harsher. The 18th century saw significant growth in whiskey production, especially in Scotland, where distilling was a way to utilize excess grains. However, heavy taxation by the British government led to a rise in illegal distilleries. Many small producers began operating secretly, creating a moonshine culture. In 1823, the Excise Act was passed, making legal distilling easier and cheaper, which led to a boom in the production of Scotch whiskey. As whiskey making developed, distinct styles emerged between regions. In Scotland, the use of peat to dry the barley during the malting process gave Scotch whiskey its characteristic smoky flavor. In Ireland, producers typically used unmalted barley and triple distilled their whiskey, leading to a smoother and lighter product. Irish and Scottish immigrants brought whiskey to North America in the 18th century, where it quickly became popular. Early American settlers used whatever grains were available, such as rye and corn, leading to the development of distinct American whiskeys, including bourbon and rye whiskey. In the 19th century, whiskey became a global product, with distilleries established across Europe and North America. During this period, the use of aging in wooden casks became a standard practice, refining the taste and leading to the smoother, more complex flavors we associate with whiskey today. The Industrial Revolution brought significant advancements to whiskey production, with improvements in distillation technology and quality control. This allowed distillers to produce whiskey more consistently and at a larger scale. The 20th century was a tumultuous time for whiskey. In the United States, Prohibition from 1920 to 1933 halted legal production and many distilleries shut down. Some survived by producing medicinal whiskey, which was legally allowed during Prohibition. In Scotland and Ireland, both world wars impacted production, leading to shortages and reduced quality. In the latter half of the century, the whiskey industry faced competition from other spirits, such as vodka and gin. However, the late 20th and early 21st centuries saw a resurgence in interest, particularly for premium and craft whiskies. This revival was driven by a growing appreciation for traditional distilling methods, artisanal products, and the unique regional flavors that whiskey offers. Today, whiskey is produced and enjoyed worldwide, from Scotland and Ireland to the United States, Japan, and beyond. Each region has its own regulations and styles, ranging from single malts and blends to bourbons and rye whiskeys. Craft distilleries have also emerged, experimenting with new ingredients, aging processes, and flavors, continuing to evolve the legacy of whiskey.
From the vast savannas of Africa to the frozen tundras of the Arctic, our planet teems with remarkable creatures and breathtaking wonders. But did you know that history, too, is full of stories just as bizarre, chilling, and sometimes downright unbelievable? Today we embark on a journey through time, exploring 15 jaw-dropping facts that will make you see the past in a whole new light. We'll delve into the hidden corners of history, uncovering tales of triumph, tragedy, and everything in between. Buckle up, because some of these will have you laughing, gasping, or shaking your head in disbelief. Let's get started. The name Adolf Hitler evokes images of war-torn Europe, of unspeakable atrocities, of a world plunged into darkness. Yet even amidst the horrors he orchestrated, this dictator harbored a peculiar fascination. Deep within the walls of his mountain retreat, Hitler indulged in a surprising pastime, sketching Disney characters. Imagine, if you will, this man responsible for unimaginable suffering, finding solace in the whimsical world of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. He even declared it the greatest animated film of all time. In the annals of human resilience, few chapters are as harrowing as the siege of Leningrad. For 872 agonizing days and nights, the city of Leningrad, now St. Petersburg, was held captive by the Nazi war machine. Trapped within its walls, nearly 3 million souls endured unimaginable hardship. Winter descended upon the besieged city, blanketing it in a suffocating shroud of ice and snow. Food supplies dwindled, then vanished entirely. Desperate citizens, their bodies ravaged by starvation, resorted to eating leather belts, wallpaper paste, even in the most desperate cases, each other. Every day was a struggle for survival, a testament to the tenacity of the human spirit. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, a name synonymous with genius, with soaring melodies and exquisite compositions. But behind the polished facade of this musical prodigy lay a mischievous streak, a penchant for the absurd and, dare we say, the downright vulgar. While composing masterpieces that would echo through the ages, Mozart also penned a series of scatological canons, songs celebrating bodily functions with a humor that would make even the most prudish listener blush. These compositions, hidden away from polite society, offer a glimpse into the more irreverent side of this musical giant. These bawdy tunes serve as a reminder that even the greatest geniuses are not immune to the allure of toilet humor. In the scorching sands of ancient Egypt, where the sun beat down relentlessly and the Nile River flowed like a lifeline, Pharaoh Pepi II ruled with absolute authority. But even the most powerful pharaoh was not immune to the annoyances of everyday life, particularly the pesky persistence of flies. Pepi II devised a rather unorthodox solution: human fly traps. He ordered his servants to coat themselves in honey, transforming their bodies into sticky traps for flies, attracting flies like, well, honey. In the 13th century, as Europe grappled with famine, disease, and political turmoil, Pope Gregory VII unleashed a different kind of crusade, one targeting not heretics or infidels, but felines. Cats, declared the pontiff, were instruments of Satan, their very presence a threat to Christendom. Imagine the scene: priests denouncing cats from the pulpit, townsfolk rounding up their once-beloved pets, the air thick with fear and suspicion. Cats, those furry companions, were suddenly transformed into agents of darkness, their meows interpreted as demonic incantations. The consequences of this feline fatwa were swift and severe. With their natural predators decimated, rat populations exploded, spreading disease and pestilence throughout Europe. The early 20th century saw great technological advancement, but medical care for premature infants was rudimentary. Enter Dr. Martin Coney with his controversial incubator baby sideshows. He funded his life-saving incubators by displaying them at amusement parks and world's fairs. Premature babies became unlikely sideshow attractions. Imagine strolling past carnival barkers and encountering rows of incubators. A jarring juxtaposition, but one that saved thousands of lives. Deep within the African continent, shrouded in the dense jungles of the Congo Basin, lies a dark chapter of human history, the reign of King Leopold II of Belgium. Driven by an insatiable greed for rubber and ivory, Leopold transformed the Congo Free State, his personal fiefdom, into a living hell for its inhabitants. Imagine, if you will, vast plantations where men, women and children toiled under the watchful eyes of brutal overseers, their bodies mutilated for failing to meet quotas. Leopold's reign of terror, fueled by European demand for rubber, decimated the Congolese population. Millions perished from starvation, disease and overwork. A gleaming smile, a symbol of health and vitality, but behind those pearly whites lies a long and often gruesome history, one involving battlefield scavengers, grave robbers, and the repurposing of human remains. In the days before modern dentistry, dentures were a luxury reserved for the wealthy, and the materials used to craft them were anything but sanitary. Early dentures were often fashioned from animal teeth, carved ivory, or, most disturbingly, human teeth extracted from corpses. The Battle of Waterloo, a pivotal moment in European history, also provided a macabre boon for denture makers. Thousands of teeth were extracted from the fallen soldiers, their final contribution not to victory or defeat, but to the dental hygiene of others. On August 6, 1945, the world watched in horror as a blinding flash engulfed the Japanese city of Hiroshima. 3 days later, Nagasaki suffered the same fate. The atomic bomb, a weapon of unimaginable destructive power, had announced its arrival, forever altering the course of human history. In the aftermath of these apocalyptic events, amidst the rubble and the radiation, a chilling phenomenon emerged. Shadows burned into the very fabric of the cities. These ghostly imprints, known as atomic shadows, serve as haunting reminders of the devastation wrought by nuclear weapons. Thomas Edison, the Wizard of Menlo Park, a man synonymous with innovation, with bringing light to the world. But even geniuses have their missteps. And in the case of Edison, one such misstep came in the form of a talking doll, a technological marvel that terrified children rather than delighted them. Imagine, if you will, a child unwrapping a gift, their eyes widening with anticipation. But instead of the cheerful babble of a beloved doll, they are greeted by a scratchy, disembodied voice emanating from the doll's chest, reciting nursery rhymes with an eerie cadence. Edison's talking doll, a marvel of its time, was a commercial disaster. The American flag, a symbol of freedom, unity, and national pride. Its stars and stripes instantly recognizable around the globe. In 1958, 17-year-old Robert G. Heft designed a flag for a history project. He crafted a flag with 50 stars, anticipating Alaska and Hawaii's statehood. His teacher was unimpressed, giving him a B. 2 years later, Heft's flag became the official banner of the United States. In the annals of medical research, few chapters are as shameful, as ethically reprehensible as the Tuskegee syphilis study. For 40 years, from 1932 to 1972, the United States Public Health Service conducted a study on African American men in Macon County, Alabama, that stands as a chilling testament to the devastating consequences of racism and medical malfeasance. Imagine, if you will, hundreds of men, impoverished sharecroppers lured by the promise of free medical care, unknowingly infected with syphilis, a debilitating and potentially fatal disease. Imagine these men, their bodies ravaged by the disease, denied treatment even after penicillin, an effective cure, became widely available. The Tuskegee study was not a rogue operation. It was sanctioned and funded by the US government. The legacy of Tuskegee continues to cast a long shadow over the American medical establishment. Stained glass windows, those kaleidoscopic masterpieces of light and color, have graced cathedrals, castles, and mosques for centuries. But behind their ethereal beauty lies a more earthy, even slightly unsavory truth. The use of urine in their creation. Yes, you heard that correctly. Urine, a readily available and surprisingly effective ingredient, played a crucial role in the creation of stained glass. Medieval artisans discovered that urine, particularly the urine of wine drinkers, was rich in ammonia, a key component in the production of potash, a flux used to lower the melting point of glass. Genghis Khan, the name evokes images of thundering hooves of vast armies sweeping across continents, of an empire forged in blood and fire. But what if we told you that this ruthless conqueror responsible for millions of deaths may have helped save the planet? Genghis Khan's brutal conquests may have decreased global carbon emissions. Imagine the Eurasian steppes transformed into vast grazing lands, forests reclaiming farmland, absorbing carbon dioxide. The decline in population and farmland led to less deforestation and lower carbon dioxide levels. Libraries, those hallowed halls of knowledge where the scent of aging paper and leather mingles with the quiet murmur of turning pages. But within these sanctuaries lurk volumes with a dark secret, books bound in human skin. Anthropodermic bibliopagy, binding books in human skin, was common from the 16th to 19th centuries. These macabre tomes were often medical texts, legal documents, or even Bibles. Imagine a book, its cover human skin, the texture eerily lifelike. Today these books are macabre curiosities, a testament to the darker side of history. And there you have it, 15 jaw-dropping facts that show history is anything but boring. From Hitler's surprising artistic hobby to the Pope's war on cats, we've journeyed through time to uncover some of the strangest, most shocking and unbelievable stories from the past. Remember, behind every date and every name in your history books lies a world of fascinating characters, bizarre events, and unbelievable twists and turns. So the next time you think history is dull, remember these tales and realize there's always more to discover. Which fact shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mind-blowing stories from the past.